Boom. Big shout outs to all the chingones and chingonas, man. Here we are. We made it to the end of the week, which means we get to talk a little bit of boxing, Holmes. All right. Hey, we got a special guest, some special guests on with us today. So let's just get right into it. Let's bring in the other chingones from Mike Angelino Sports One, Mr. Mike Zavala.
What's up, brother? Oh man, we got a good show going on today. Let's get it, man. Mike
El
Angelino.
gran, el gran chingón, el mero one, Mr. David Contreras.
Hey, brother, I am excited about today's show. We got some great guests, and you know what? Let's throw chingazos. Let's go. We're ready.
Let's do it. We also expect to have Marvin Rodriguez from Marv Nation Promotion here with us right now. Is the boxing guru one, Mr. Salvador Carrillo.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for having me today.
What's up to Dos Matador, Impala, G Funky is up in here, man. Shout out to my boy G Funky. Man, you know what? While we hang on and just wait for Marvin Rodriguez to jump on, let's talk a little bit about the fight that we were at, David. The Jojo Diaz and Zepeda fight. I had a chance to interview William Zepeda Camarón afterwards, and he said a couple of things, man, that I wasn't really down with. Mike, you saw the fight on television. What did you see? How did you see it on TV?
Yeah, Camarón looked good, man. Like I said, we talked about Jojo Diaz as a gatekeeper. He's not the top of the elite, but si te duerme el gallo, Jojo will beat you. He's a guy that you put to see where you're at. And Camarón got tested, and he passed the test. You're the best pass the test. I saw a lot of good things from Camarón, man. I saw him face adversity. He got hurt in the 6 rounds. He was banging in the first 1 through 6, and then he got hurt in the 6 rounds. And I said he needs to adjust. And he did an adjustment in round 7, and he won the fight. It was a good fight. On paper, it looked like it looked easy work, but it was a good fight, man. That's what I saw. I saw some good things from Camarón.
Man, the boxing guru, man. I cannot wait to hear what you saw, Carnal. Tell us, give it to us.
You know what? I really like what I see from Camarón. It's kind of hard to judge him here because we have to understand Jojo is a natural 126 pounder. Jojo has never been that knockout artist that you can say he's gonna bulldoze through a guy. So to beat Jojo at a weight that does not belong to Jojo, it's not really telling me a lot. On the contrary, it kind of tells me there's a lot of holes on it, and I get it. He's a traditional go forward fighter, and he's gonna give us nothing but great fights. But there's little hints there that kind of tell you, what, maybe a pure boxer might hurt him. Like Mike said, he did get hurt by Jojo again. Let's repeat that. He got hurt by Jojo, a 126 little guy. I think he is going to do great. I think he has the ability to beat some fighters. Like I would love to see him versus a guy like Devin Haney, a guy that we know is a great pure boxer, but we know there's a little glass in that chin. So I think he's gonna fare well with versus those type of guys. He's the type of guy that on any given day he's gonna do great versus that chinny guy. He's the type of guy that's gonna be able to beat the boxing out of you. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I think sometimes we jump into conclusions and start talking pound for pound, and we start looking at facing the best versus the best. But I think we're gonna be able to see him in some great fights. It's gonna be a short career, but it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
And I think he's really too big for this weight. So think of a career like Lucas Matisse. He was a lot of fun, but it was short, a bit short. Again, great career. Don't get me wrong, but it was a bit short.
True.
It was short, man, and it was fun to watch his career, Lucas Matisse. It was really fun, but yeah, you're right. You know what? Those careers can't last too long.
Yeah.
So, David, you and I were both there at the fight, but we were sitting in different sections, man. How did you see it?
Yeah, I was sitting in the poor section, and you were sitting in the media section, so you had better seats than I did, Holmes. So let's tell the truth. Hey, you know what? Before I tell you about the fight, you know, I just want to say how honored we are, Los Tres Chingones, Sal, to have you on our show. You know, man, de veras, we're honored, man. I follow you on Instagram. I follow you on Twitter, and I've heard a lot about you throughout the years. You're that guy that are like us three. We love to talk boxing. You and I went out to dinner the other night, and we talked for about 3 hours, and no paramos y hablar del box. You know what I mean? So we're honored, brother.
Oh, on the contrary, man. It's always fun to talk to like-minded folks, man. So
Yeah.
I'm really honored.
Yeah, gracias. De veras, de corazón. You know what, Camarón, like I said, on my other show, Rolling with the Punches TV, we had Roberto Diaz 2 years ago. And the first question we asked, who are the future prospects, future world champions? This is 2 years ago. Nobody had even in America had even heard about William El Camarón Cepeda. And that was the first name he threw out. And we had Roberto Diaz on our show about a month ago, and we asked him for a prediction. And you know what he said? He's the real deal. And not just because he said it, we saw it on Saturday. I mean, he broke all kinds of records. He broke most jabs, most power punches, most punches thrown in a fight at that weight class, 135. You know, he's the real deal. And I agree with you guys. I want to see him fight Devin Haney. I agree with you, Sal, that glass chin, he will expose it because this guy doesn't give up. I mean, this guy came in, and you know what? He should change his name from El Camarón to Sniper. He's a sniper. Not one time did he miss. I was telling with my camarada Fausto, and I was telling him, watch him. He doesn't miss. He doesn't miss a jab. He doesn't miss a hook. Everything was hitting, you know. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for his career, and I agree with you, Sal. It's going to be short-lived because he gets hit a lot, but, man, it's going to give us a lot of great nights of boxing.
That's true.
Okay, man. So, look, how we were there at the fight, right? Jojo Diaz, his defense was just putting his guard up. That was it. He had no head movement. He wasn't trying to slip a punch, nothing. He would just stand there, put the guard up, and absorb the punches. And I was just saying, like, listen, Camarón does not stop throwing punches. This guy continually throws punches. If you want the guy to get tired, make him miss. Don't just stand there and be a punching bag. Sure, he's not hitting you cleanly, but you're still absorbing the punches. And you waste more energy when you throw a punch and you hit nothing but pure air. Camarón didn't have to do that, but Jojo didn't have the movement. He wasn't doing it. He just put the guard up and he'll just take him. Camarón, I mean, look, no, there's no controversy. He definitely won the fight. What I want to go ahead and throw out there is that I had the honor to interview him after the fight. He is on the zone. He's there with Golden Boy. They're doing their thing. I asked him, you know, because he does look a little bit big, man. He was a lot bigger than Jojo Diaz. I asked him, would he fight? I'm sorry. Somebody else asked him, would he fight Ryan Garcia, right? Because that fight should be easy to make. He said all the right things. He said, yes, he'd love to fight Ryan Garcia. That would be a fight that they'll be looking forward to and all that stuff. And then I personally asked him, would you move to 140 to make that fight happen? He said no. So that, to me, that struck me a little bit wrong because Ryan Garcia is not going to go to 135 to fight Zepeda. So, boxing guru, man, Sal, what do you make of that?
I think they know that the belts will be empty at 135 soon. You saw Devin Haney's weigh-in in Australia a few weeks back. He looked dead. At 135, who's going to stay at 135? The only Stevenson, I believe, is a good fit for 135. Sure. Off the top of my head, I can't really think about anybody else. It seems like everybody's moving at 140, so his decision to stay, it's strictly belt. And you got to understand, in Mexico, yes, they all go, they're all prize fighters, but there's an importance to a belt that maybe here in the U.S. we don't glorify as much because we know what we know the WBC, we know WBA, WBO, we know IBF, we know there's, I don't want to say corruption because it's a cop out to calling them sleazy, but we know that we as fans know who's the man and who's at each division. In Mexico, they still have this utmost respect for the WBC, and I get it. You know, I'm quick to knock on them, but I get it. That's what they have a respect for the belt in general. So I understand his position of killing himself because you can see it in himself. He's a big kid to kill himself for 135 as long as his body lets him. So that's the only thing I see. At 140, I do see him eventually, but I do expect him to capture some sort of part of the 135 crown at one point. But that's all it is.
You know, I was saying that somebody like Devin Haney, man, that you know, when he tries to make 135, and he does make 135, he looks like skin and bones, man. He looks like skin and bones. Oh, yeah. But until it affects his performance in the ring, right? Like aesthetically, when I see him step on the scale, I'm like, man, this guy looks dead, you know. But then the next day he puts on a good performance and he wins. So it's like, okay, maybe he's killing himself to make the weight, but it's still not affecting his performance in the ring. So I think until it starts affecting his performance in the ring, he could probably still stay at 135. And you know, there's still some good fights down there for for him to have. Obviously, there's the big rumor that people want to throw around, but I'll ask you, Sal, what is the rumors that you are hearing, man? You're deep in the boxing world with Devin Haney after Lomachenko came off his loss, where some people are criticizing that he probably lost. He didn't lose that fight. He won that fight. He just struggled a little bit. Is there any chance that we see Lomachenko against Devin Haney?
I think so. And I think going back to your original point of Devin staying at 135, I think that's the reason why he's staying at 135. For the Loma fight, that's the last money fight, with the exception of maybe with Shakur. And I don't think they're going to want to do that fight anytime soon, to be honest. So I think him versus Loma, and we already know Loma. That's one of the great things about these guys like Loma, that we know he's willing to fight these kids, and we as boxing fans almost know that it's a fight for Loma to lose. As much as we like Loma, but he's a smaller guy. He's a guy 126er going up against this big kid that's bursting at the seams at 135. But I think that is the last fight for Devin to make at 135. And that's the only reason why he's staying. Other than that, there's really no reason. Like you said, everybody's going to 140. We got Tio at 140. We got Ryan going to 140. We got Cambosos, I'm sure, is going to go to 140 again. What's the other kid? The kid that won the belt, Scottish kid that's 140. What was he? He was the unified champion, not the undisputed champion.
Taylor? Right? Josh Taylor.
Taylor at 140. That eventually he's going to go to 147 too. He's a big kid for 142. So I think all these younger kids at 140, or I'm sorry, 135 are going to 140 to where we're really going to see them blossom.
Hey, Sal, do you see Tank Davis going to 140? Because that's Chaparrito.
Davis went to 140 to fight the Azteca guy. But the thing is with Davis, and it pisses you off too, because people say you're a hater because you want to see him, or because you knock on Tank. But I think Tank is a very special kid. Tank at 130 was an absolute monster. Look what he did to Leo, even if he's a relatively, smaller guy than Leo, physical stature at least. I think Tank is probably one of my favorite fighters out there, but the frustration with him is this lack of opponents. He doesn't fight anybody that you could say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna watch this fight and I'm gonna do a quinela because I don't really know who's gonna win. We know who's gonna win every time Tank fights. And it's an embarrassment from PBC and not necessarily PBC as a whole, but Leonard Enderby to continue to do this type of stuff, and he continues to call it a business and whatnot. But we just want to see Tank because we know how special Tank is. You guys know how special Tank is, and I feel like they don't let him be special. He does not have a career-defining win. His career-defining win was versus ¿cómo se llama ese muchacho? Pitbull, Isaac Cruz.
Right.
And it's a fight that I'm sorry, but I know a lot of folks like Isaac Cruz, but I think he caught him on an off night.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what happens with boxing, and that's what's happening to Tank Davis. Is what happened to David Benavidez. You say the pushback. What happened? The promoters are doing a disservice to them because we're not going to see them put themselves to the fight at the highest level because we know they can't. We know they're special. David Benavidez is special, bro. Yeah. But he's doing a disservice. Who did he fight? Lemieux, a 160 pounder. He moved him up to 168, and then the other fight is just like, who's he fighting? And he's not sharpening his tools, and he's not fighting the elite of the elite to see where he's at. And he gets that fight with Canelo. What happens if Canelo just knocks him out, or he fights Phelan Plant? He has a fight right now, and he was just a fluke. You know what I mean? And that's what Tank Davis is. He's fired. We're gonna call that he had an off night with Pitbull Cruz. I think he fought a guy at a high level, and he didn't make him look so good because he hasn't been fighting at the these elite fighters. So that's what happens, I think, Sal.
Yeah, no. There's something to it, but like you said, we just don't know because these guys are not daring to be great. We're not getting the best. We're not getting the best that these guys can actually do because there's always some sort of. Like I said, as a matter of fact, that Isaac Cruz fight, we got it by accident. We got a good fight by accident because I think
Rolly got in trouble.
Yeah, Rolly got in trouble for his lady friends.
Yeah. All right. Hey, so before we get into tomorrow's fight and a little bit of what's going on, hey, Sal, tell us a little bit about you, Holmes, and you being the boxing guru. How did that come to be, carnal? Tell us a little bit about your background, brother.
You see, my background is just like I'm a boxing fan, bro. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a boxing fan at heart. I've got the ability to work with a lot of good people in boxing. I don't know if David told you guys, but I work for Adidas Boxing as well. I'm one of their scout guys that I scout local guys and try to get them sponsorships as far as gloves and whatnot. But again, I'm a boxing fan. I've been going to fight since I can remember. Like all of us, it's just I have a big mouth and I go on Twitter and Instagram and talk a lot about it, and that's all. I've also, and shameless plug, but I do my Boxing and Chill shirts, and I've been doing them for a while. Boxing and Chill. I made the. You guys might have seen it when the whole Golovkin movement was coming on. I made the whole Mexicans for Golovkin shirt. That shirt, kind of threw my name out there all the way. It went all the way to the New York Times, I believe it was featured. I did a couple of shirts for Golovkin, the Chapo Golovkin shirt. I did some Canelo shirts where I swapped them out instead of a G.I. Joe. I put them in as a Mexican hero, with the Marina outfit and everything. So I've been doing a lot of boxing shirts and whatnot. And of course, I have a podcast myself that I should be doing more often, but I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. It's called the Mr. Boxing Guru Podcast and whatnot. But that's in a nutshell. That's my background in boxing. Like I said, I work with a lot of fighters. I work with I try to bring on fighters as much as I can. Of course, we know there's a lot of big glove companies out there that might offer better opportunities, but I assure you, a better glove they don't.
That's so. Well, we highly appreciate you being on here, just like David was saying. Marvin, brother, if you're ready, just give me a little thumbs up, carnal. I'll bring you in. Listen, we are blessed and honored to have the boxing guru on with us. We also have another special guest from Marvin Nation Promotion, the CEO, Mr. Marvin Rodriguez.
Hey, brother.
How you doing, sir?
How's everybody doing?
Good. Let's see. Is it working?
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for having me.
No, listen, thank you for being on. Thank you for making the time to come on here. You and Sal, we highly appreciate it. And we definitely want to talk about what you got going on. I think small promotions are very important. You know, there's always the big promotions, and a lot of them don't work with each other. So it's always nice to see something fresh come along. So thank you so much, Mr. Rodriguez, for making the time to come on and talk with us. We've had people come on and say, like, oh man, okay, he got that fight. So many people are interested in that fight, and we're definitely going to get into it. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about this big fight that's taking place tomorrow. Zurdo Ramirez against Dimitri Bivol. Guys, everybody is, you know, ramped up about this fight, thinking that this is a 50-50 fight. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys where I stand right now. I don't think this is 50-50. I think this is Bivol, man. I think there's like 70-30 for Bivol. Mike, how say you?
Oh man, of course we haven't seen Zurdo fight someone an elite fighter. I don't think so. And we've seen what Bivol can do. I think Zurdo needs to, it's going to be the battle of footwork, right? The left hand versus left foot fighter and the right foot fighter. So we're going to see that. We're going to see IQ. Let's see if Zurdo can put his foot in the outside. Let's see if he could get angles. He needs to go to the body, take those legs away from Bivol, and slow him down a little bit and just work him. And he has to beat the champion, right? You can't just he has to knock him out or beat him decisively because Bivol's a champion. And I give the edge for Bivol decision. It's a good fight, but it's all on Zurdo, man. Can he do it? I don't know.
David?
You know what? I got Zurdo on this one. I got it 45-50, Zurdo. And I'm going to tell you why. Zurdo, and I agree. Before the show came on, Sal, all of us were talking about Zurdo. He's a different fighter. I mean, the guy, I believe, is 44-0, and he's fought some good fighters. But I'm telling you, with his new coach, his style has completely changed. I see Zurdo, not only because he has a height, he's probably going to come in probably at about 201, maybe 195. But I see Zurdo's new style of attacking working on Bivol. It's going to be a great fight. I mean, it could go either way, but I have Zurdo winning that fight by decision. It's going to be a great fight. Looking forward to it.
Look, our camarada G Funky says 90-10 for Bivol. Sal, but my man, you're all over this. What do you see in this fight tomorrow?
You know what? It really depends what type of Zurdo shows up. I personally would love the old Zurdo to come out, the you know, quote unquote, you know, boring Zurdo, and just box, you know, because he has the height, he has the weight advantage. But if he decided to box, I think he has a great shot. My deal is more the new exciting Zurdo that we see now. Is he going to be that guy that's going to be chasing after him? That's going to be trying to create the fight? Because we know, again, we talked about it earlier too. That's something that Bivol's very good at. He can stink up a fight, and he's okay with it. So now, what's actually going to happen? I don't know. I'm leaning a bit towards Zurdo. I think he has. I think just the height and the weight advantage that he's going to bring to the table is going to be enough. And remember, he is a lefty. Lefties do tend to be a bit more complicated. So I'm going with Zurdo by split.
Mr. Rodriguez?
You know what? My heart says Zurdo. My mind says Bivol. And the only reason I say that is because obviously when Bivol fought Canelo, nobody gave him an opportunity. Nobody believed that he could beat him, you know, and he proved a lot that day. He proved that he has a lot of skills and, you know, he has a lot of heart. So, you know, even though my heart is rooting for Zurdo, my mind is telling me, remember what Bivol did. Don't forget.
Yeah. And everybody remember, man, Bivol keeps his composure. He was in the biggest fight of his life against arguably the biggest star in boxing right now, Canelo. He did not fall for any of Canelo's traps. Canelo got against the rope and he'd be like, come on, get in here. Bivol stood his ground, kept his composure, no expression of frustration, nothing, just stuck to the game plan. It's like, no, I'm gonna box you. This stage, this arena, this event, whatever we got going on here is not too big for me. It's not too small for me. It's just what I do. Boxing is what I do, regardless if I'm on a high level, small level, doesn't matter. And I saw that in Bivol, and I'm like, this guy is like the Russian from Rocky IV, Drago. Just no expression. He just goes in there and does his thing. I got Bivol tomorrow, man. I got Bivol unanimous decision, and
Nice.
that's what I got. What do you guys think about the time on the West Coast? It's going to start, I think, at 11, 10:30.
11 a.m.
Love it. I
11.
love it. You know what? How much more stuff I could get done in the afternoon? Now I could actually take my wife to dinner. I'm good. We're good.
Boxing and chill.
There you go. Shameless plug.
Wake up in the morning, have some breakfast, watch the fight, and chill.
Now my wife is here, want me to take her out to dinner. Dang it, man. Gotta spend some money. But you know what? Let's Mr. Rodriguez, we got you on here, sir. You were able to pick up a nice big fight. But before we do all that, let's talk a little bit about how you got into this. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how the birth of Marv Nation came to be?
Sure. Yeah. And by the way, you can call me Marvin too. You just call me Marvin. We're good. You know. So so a little bit about my background. I'm actually a real estate investor, developer, real estate broker. That's really where my background is coming from. But you know, a few years, maybe about 8 years ago, I got a little bored entertainment into music. I did a few in 2017 with a few well-known artists, and then in 2019, what happened is, you know, my son decided to go pro. He wanted to box. He decided to go pro, and you know what? I made a little deal with him. I said, if you go ahead and graduate from high school, you know, I'll go ahead and help you in your career. And as I started helping him in his career, I realized, you know what? It's not easy. Boxing is not easy. You know, anybody wanting to become a professional boxer, it's hard. If you're not an Olympian, if you don't have an Olympic background, you know, I thought I had a lot of friends in the boxing industry. And when I started knocking on the doors, I realized, you know what? It's not as easy as you think. And, you know, I decided to get involved in my son's career. I got involved with a boxing promotion company where I became a president of that company where we started. And eventually, you know, we decided to take some of the knowledge from doing concerts and entertainment, which is very similar to this business, you know, basically start Marv Nation in the boxing world.
Okay. How was it? I mean, have you been promoting fights already? I mean, this is a pretty big fight that you got coming up at the end of the month, and we're definitely going to touch into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, that when we won the purse bid, there was a lot of people that said, "Oh man, Marv Nation came out of nowhere." No, we actually, if you look us up on BoxRec, we have over 25 shows. I have 3 shows going on this month. You know, we've been one of the most active promoters, show after show after show. LA, Costa Rica, you know, Mexico. So we're doing shows in the US, Mexico, and Costa Rica. You know, the last, I would say, 2.5 years, we've been right after, we were busy during the pandemic. You know, we were probably one of the few promoters doing shows during the pandemic. And then as soon as it opened up, we just, you know, this year we've had about, I don't know, 12 shows. You know, it's not even the end of the year yet. So, you know, maybe even more than that. I lost count already. Just to tell you, we're doing 3 shows this month. Kansas, we're doing a show in Mexico, and we're doing a show in LA.
And you know what? And I'm gonna pass it around to the guys in a minute, but I just want to say personally, you know what? As a Chicano, as a raza, you getting in there and doing this and starting this is very inspirational, man, to the gente. And I'm just very proud to see somebody like you of your stature doing something like this. It means a lot. It really does. But last question before I pass it on to the guys, because we definitely want to talk about the fight that you got going on. How was it that you were able to come up on the Regis Prograis versus Jose Cepeda, which is going to be the 26th of this month in Carson, California?
Well, as many of you know, we went to a purse bid. The way that works is the 2 promoters, Regis promoter, which is Probellum, and Cepeda's promoter, which is Sanford, they weren't able to make a deal happen for that fight to go on. So it went to a purse bid. It was ordered by the WBC, and basically we jumped in with everybody else, PBC, Probellum, Sanford, everybody that was interested in the fight, and the highest bid won, which was our bid.
Man, Mike, what do you think about Jose Cepeda versus Regis Prograis, man? How do you see that fight?
Oh, that's a good fight. We talked about it, right, Dave? Yeah, that we said it was gonna be a good fight, and then Dave told me it might not be a great fight. And I thought about it, like, you know what? Maybe because Regis is a counterpuncher, but Cepeda's been looking hot lately, so it's just a battle of styles. Who's I know it sounds cliche, but styles make fights, and who can impose their style. I think it's gonna be a good fight though, man. But I'm gonna give Regis the edge, I think. I don't know.
David,
let me just say this, if you mind, if you let me say this.
Yes.
In reality, we have the number 2 against the number 1 against the number 2
Yes.
in the world. So
yes.
when do you see fights like that? You always see one with 15, one with 25. You know, if you get one with 10, you're lucky. So in reality, we got the number 1 and the number 2 coming together, and I think it might even be fight of the year, to be honest with you, because we got 2 fighters that can, you know, they can punch, they got knockout power, and you know what, everybody's expecting a war in this fight. I think it's going to be an amazing fight.
Oh yeah, David, how do you see this fight, man?
Hey, you know what? But before I do, once again, Marv, welcome to the show. You were on our show, my other show, about a year and a half ago. And one of the things that stands out in my mind, that you're not only a great promoter, a great father, but you're also a pastor of a church. And I admire that. And you also help a lot of the homeless. You help the gang members there in Montebello. I mean, it ain't just about boxing. And when we think about boxing, we sometimes just think, you know, that, okay, he's a promoter. But no, I mean, you're doing some great work in the communities, Latino communities, and the communities in general. And I want to commend you for that. You know, before I talk about the fight, gracias de todo corazón, because I know you're making a big difference, not only in the boxing world, but also in your community.
You know what? This was how I think. I got an opportunity to be here. Somebody gave me an opportunity. Somebody helped me down the line. I wouldn't be where I'm at if when I was younger, somebody didn't mentor me and help me get to where I needed to get. So to me, in reality, Marv Nation is an opportunity to give back, an opportunity just like we do, you know, work in the community. Like you mentioned, we work helping the homeless. You know, during the pandemic, we passed out, you know, over 30,000 boxes of food weekly, you know, that were coming out and moving to families that needed it. But only, you know, what I think is I got an opportunity to be blessed to be here, you know, and right now the vision for Mar Nation, that's what we stand for, an opportunity for the younger generation that had no opportunity because they weren't Olympians, because they weren't national champions, because their parents didn't have money to take them to the national champions, but they have a dream. That's what Marv Nation is, an opportunity.
Excellent. And with that said, you know what? Thank you for bringing this fight. I've been looking forward to this fight. Actually, I was looking forward to Regis versus Jose Ramirez. And when Jose Ramirez said that he's getting married, I felt sorry for him. No te creas. He chose the marriage over this fight, and then they brought in El Chon Cepeda. Man, I mean, I have said it before in the past that this will definitely be one of the It has potential to be the fight of the year. Studying the fight, I mean, you got number 1 and number 2. Chon Cepeda beat Jose Ramirez without a doubt. I mean, I've seen that fight 3 or 4 times already. And now you have, I mean, this is going to be an outstanding fight. Y de veras de todo corazón, thank you for making it happen. And the best of all, it's going to be right there in Los Angeles area at Carson. Yeah. And the price that you're charging, is it really going to be $39.99 or $40 for that premium?
You know what? No, it's going to be $59. But if you look at the card, I mean, just go in there, go into BoxRec, look at the card. We have a stack card.
Really?
Number 2, number 3, number 4. If you're in the boxing world, you're gonna recognize those names in boxing. You know, it's an amazing card. You know, one of the things that we're gonna ask for is that support. You know, because you know, a lot of people say, well, we don't ever see good fights happen anymore. You know, it's like it's hard to get good fights, and they're complaining about all of this. But then when you put up a good fight, now the question is everybody supporting? Is our boxing community coming out in full force and saying, we're going to support this great fight so we can continue having more great fights.
Yeah. And we need to support it without a doubt. We need to give you 100% support, and everybody needs to show up for that fight or buy it online.
Marvin, I just want to
win.
Yeah, Marvin, I just want to read this, what Raider Los Angeles said. He said, what an outstanding member of society, especially showing our gente we can grow as Latinos. Big gracias, 100%. And definitely. Yeah. You're talking about, okay, so this fight's going to be pay-per-view. Listen, what the PBC has been throwing at us as pay-per-view fights is nothing compared to what this fight is. Yeah. This fight is going to be so much more better because the PBC has been throwing, you know, Charles Martin versus King Kong Ortiz at us. That's pay-per-view. You know, they've been throwing just all kinds of fights where it's like, come on, man, this is this is ridiculous. You know, this actually, how you're saying even the undercard is you got a lot of number ones versus number twos fighting one another, man. And I just want to say this. I've been to the Dignity Health Sports Park there in Carson, California. In my opinion, is the best place to watch a boxing match. It just is. You could just stand at the very top and you just feel like you're there in the fight. Sal, man, Regis Prograis versus Jose Cepeda, my man. Give us your
you know what? I told David the other day when to dinner. Do you guys, and that goes for all four of you guys, do you guys remember the Marquez versus Bradley fight?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is the same thing. I think with the Cepeda being a natural counterpuncher, and the same thing goes for Prograis. They're both really natural counterpunchers. So it's going to be like two cobras, you know, kind of going at it, hissing at each other the whole night. I think we're in for a great fight. But Marvin, the great thing about you picking this venue is that this venue, I still call it the StubHub Center because I remember I used to do some tailgates, and I was talking to your matchmaker HDZ, and big shout out to him. It's one of those places that it's a magical place. Fights that aren't supposed to be that great end up being amazing. Yeah. Bradley Provodnikov, amazing fight. Brandon Rios versus I forget this kid from
Colorado.
Colorado kid. Yeah. Mike Alvarado. We got all these Vasquez, Izzy Vasquez fights that used to happen there too versus Marquez. This is fight, and those are two natural counterpunches. So you have the power, you have the ability, Marvin, to make a very special fight. And the good thing about you, and I'll kind of go back to when you started, when I started hearing Marv Nation and in the background, I was like, shit, great. Another LA promoter is going to, you know, promote 4-round fights for the rest of their life. And shit, boy, was I proven wrong. And I remember, again, I told AGC this. I'm like, shit, this was going to happen again. This is, again, not to call out anybody's name. Here goes another Red Boxing. Here comes another, you know, bash or whatever. But I have to commend you on what you've been doing and how you're betting on yourself. You have, I think, what a lot of promoters don't realize is how great the Southern California fan base is, and how and how stupid they're not. You know, people think just because it's StubHub Center, okay, let's just throw two crappy fights, and you know, the Mexicans will show up, the La Raza will show up, and that's not the case. What's been going on lately. I think that the Hispanic community is very intelligent. They know what they want. I think this is one of those fights where, look, Prograis isn't a big ticket seller. Neither is Cepeda. Let's be honest. But I think the fact when you mesh two good fighters, like you guys are doing, the matchmaking is what's key here. That's why people have responded so well, because they see that, okay, these guys are betting on themselves. These guys are, yes, that's fine. Look, there's nothing wrong with pay-per-view. The great thing about pay-per-view is that if you want to buy it, it's you have the power to do so. If you don't, you don't have to. It's not being shoved as part of your DAZN subscription, as part of your ESPN Plus or whatnot. So the fact that Marvin here is betting on himself, I think it's amazing. And I wanted to talk to him a little bit more, not so much about this fight, because I wanted to again, and maybe I'm talking too much, but I wanted to celebrate what he's done. Because look, guys, I'm not a big fan, let's say, of women's boxing, but because guys like, for example, Marv Nation's been, putting events like La Cobra, and I think you guys are co-promoting somebody with Golden Boy now, correct? Valle, something, right? Yeah. So I think that's cool. That kind of brings it up to our attention because we didn't see that before. And again, I think Marv Nation's kind of being an innovator because that's something we didn't see. We Golden Boy wouldn't put. As a matter of fact, PBC still today have not put a woman in their undercards. Mm-hmm. And again, as much as it's easy for us to critique them and say, nobody wants to see us 2-minute rounds. Who's going to knock out somebody in 2 minutes? It's kind of important. I kind of would want to hear you talk a little bit more about how you're betting on these girls when no one really has.
Right. Like I said, Marv Nation is a company of opportunity, and women's boxing right now needs that opportunity, and you mentioned Adelaida Cobra Ruiz. She has an amazing story. She's a mother of 3 kids, holding down 2 jobs, still has the drive and the heart to be in the gym and work hard for her dreams. Even when people told her, hey, it's too late for you to come back. You're a single mom. You got 3 kids. You're going to start boxing at 26, 27 is too late. She just became a world champion September 8th, on the zone, and her life has been changed. Her dreams have been accomplished, because the opportunity that Marv Nation is giving, that's what drives us in reality. We're not here for the money. We're here for the opportunity to change people's lives. And it all started with my own kids. I have 2 kids that box. So for me, it's not just, I don't see money bags. Right. I see family. I see human beings. I see people with a story, people with a dream, So we're supporting women's boxing. Like you mentioned, Yocasta Valle. We did a co-promotion deal with Golden Boy that, has changed her life. It's given her an opportunity of a lifetime. And she's fought 2 times on the zone. She's fighting on our card. She's actually the co-main event on our card, because she is making history. We just made history in Costa Rica, September 8th with her. Listen, she packed out an arena that fit about 8,000 people on a Thursday night, on a night where the building got hit by lightning. It was raining like crazy. We thought that no one was going to show up, and there was nowhere to stand, nowhere to sit in that place. A woman headlined an arena, sold it out on the zone, and that's because we gave them the opportunity to do that. So there's a lot of potential. I tell you this, sometimes women boxing is more exciting than some men fights, unfortunately. Yeah. But women go out there, they go out there and bang it out. They go out there and, they fight. They fight.
Not if you give them 3 minutes.
and I believe that, we need to continue supporting women boxing because they have dreams too, and they got a lot to bring to the table. I mean, look at what happened this year. Madison Square Garden sold out, sold out. So history is being changed. And, I want to be one of those changing history. I want to be one of those pieces that came in to contribute and left something to the next generation.
Yeah, that when you're talking about Madison Square Garden, that Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano just blew my mind, man. And when anybody ever asks, hey, what's been fight of the year so far? That one has to be in the conversation. I'm not saying it is, but it's definitely got to be in the conversation. Marvin, let me ask you, are you from Montebello?
I'm from Pico Rivera. That's where we live now.
Okay.
I born and raised in LA.
Yes.
We moved to Pico Rivera in 2001, so we've been there for 20 something years. My kids pretty much were born and raised there, so we're from Pico Rivera.
Okay. You know where the Beverly Hospital's at?
Yeah, my son, my youngest son, that's 18 years old, that's 9-0, was actually born at the hospital.
Okay, man, that's where I was. That's where I grew up, man. That's where I grew up. So hey, nice to see somebody doing it up, man. That's some good stuff. So this fight with Zepeda and Progress, if people don't know the Dignity Health Sports Park, I should just call it StubHub. It's so much easier, man. I might just go with you, Guru. Just keep on calling stuff up. It's outdoors. What made you pick this venue?
Well, number one, it's known as the war grounds.
Yeah.
Like someone just mentioned right now, it's some of the best fights have been there. That's one of the reasons. Other reason we were going back and forth whether we did it in Vegas, whether we did it in LA. The reality is that there's so much going on. We have a lot of people don't understand when you win a purse, you have 90 days to put on a fight. To put on a mega fight like this in 90 days is insane. It's crazy because you have to lock in a venue. Obviously you can't lock it in before because you don't know if you won the purse bid or not. You know what I mean? But at this part, at the end of the year, most venues are already booked. There's no venues. It's hard. But the good thing is that the Dignity Health Sports Park was available, and it's known as a war ground. Like, what better venue than this one here that's known for boxing, known for some tremendous wars, and we're gonna have a war September 26th.
How much are tickets to get in? I mean, just average. I know it's sit, but if you're averaging, what do you?
They start at $39.
Okay.
$39. $39. They go up $59, $99, $125, $350, depending where you want to sit. There's some front rows, I believe, like $1,200. It just depends, what your budget is and what you want to see. But we want to make it affordable for everybody.
Yeah, and again, I want to reiterate this and make it clear to everybody. Listen, even if you stand at the very top, you're outside. Even if you want to stand at the very top and drink your beer, man, you got a perfect picture view, man. That StubHub Center is made for boxing. I think originally it was there for like tennis and stuff. But no, it is made for boxing. Just stand at the very top if you don't even want to sit down, and you are right there, right in the middle of the action. Rated Los Angeles, it was real close. I didn't have a problem with Bumgarner winning. I thought it was really close. Joaquin is asking, do you guys think women's matches should be moved to 3 minutes? I don't have a problem with the 2-minute rounds. Just get right to the action.
I do. I think we open up for criticisms. Talking about the girls can't punch, the girls can't do this. I think if we were to eliminate the whole 2-minute round, give them the 3 rounds. I think I think we'll get some knockouts that we haven't seen. So I'm up for it. Again, I'm not the one fighting them, but I'm up for it. I think it'll be great for the girls.
Yeah, I look at it this way. My 16-year-old son, he's 18 now. He went pro at 16. He wanted to go pro, and one of the things that he always talked about was, you know what? In the amateurs, just a minute and a half is not enough time. You know what I mean? 2 minutes is not enough time to really develop a fight the way you have to go in there and just bang it out. And sometimes you want to have time to study your opponent, to work, to be able to get into a groove and stuff. And I think that's what women are asking for. That's why you kind of see women go in there just swinging for the fences. Why? Because they feel like, hey, I'm running out of time. So I think that that we should give women that opportunity, what they want. Another thing is, sometimes we're speaking for women. It's like we say, oh, 2 minutes is fine, 3 minutes. What about what women want? What about what they're thinking?
All right. Hey, guys, we got to cover this just because it's kind of blowing up in the boxing world. And I'll start with you, Sal. What have you been hearing of this David Benavidez, Caleb Plant thing, man? People are saying it's official, yet there's no date. We're just hearing January, February. I even read an article where it said March. What have you been hearing, man? You're deep in the boxing world. Is this fight actually really happening?
Look, it came from the horse's mouth. It came from the fighters. It's not a sources thing. They said it. They both posted about it. Look, I'm just looking forward to it. Like Marvin was saying right now, you get number 1, number 2. Essentially, this is what this is. This is the fight that folks want. I mean, again, we go back to talking about how people are not buying pay-per-views. This fight is worth it. Again, there's nothing wrong with pay-per-views. If you make a pay-per-view quality content, this is it. We know there's bad blood for quite some time. We know Benavidez is a machine gun. And we also know that you're as good as your last performance. This kid Plant, he looked amazing on his last performance. We were used to seeing Plant as this cute puncher that'll stink up a joint. But the fact of the matter is that he looked amazing. And then sure, why not? And we saw the backlash that Benavidez fight versus Uzcategui had, and and look, there was no reason to make the fight now when they're both available. So I'm glad. Look, I'm PBC's biggest critic, and you have to give credit when things are done right. And I'm very happy for PBC. I'm very happy for Plant and Benavidez, regardless of who wins. I'm sure they're both gonna, give us a great fight. As far as it being official, I'm sure it is. We shouldn't look. I know we're Debbie Downers when it comes to boxing, but I'm sure the fight's it's done, man. It's just a matter of setting up the date. And from what I've heard, it might actually be Arizona. So who knows?
David, your thoughts on this?
You know what? There's another fight that I'm looking forward to. I'd like to see it in Vegas since Canelo has just had surgery. I'd like to see it in Vegas on Cinco de Mayo weekend. That would be a great fight. In Vegas, Cinco de Mayo weekend. I mean, the date's available, and I think it'd be a great fight to see that weekend.
Yeah, it would be.
To step into that realm now. Take it over maybe when Canelo leaves the Cinco de Mayo and the 6 de septiembre.
Yeah. Mike, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. Finally, David Benavidez fights somebody with a pulse, man. It's like he's a Mexican monster, but he's fighting nothing but tomato cans. He fight Lemieux, a 160-pounder, and not to disrespect fighters, because you know how they sacrifice stuff, but there's levels to this, and he hasn't fought no one at that level, and we're gonna see if we're gonna see if he has holes in his game. I think he's the favorite, but that'd be crazy if he gets knocked out. But I think he's a favorite, and I'm gonna see his defense. I want to see other things, because when we watch him fight with David Benavidez, everybody knows who's gonna win. So this fight, it's a good fight, man, and respects to both of them, and finally, that's all I gotta say. And I'm a hater, I guess.
No, I like that one. Finally, hashtag finally.
Yeah, Marvin, what's your thoughts on this?
You know what? I'm excited, man. I'm excited anytime, good fights like that come together. And I think that, the fans win once again. These are the fights that the fans want to see. And, I hope that this is a trend that starts moving in the right direction in boxing, that we start getting, the best fights. That's definitely, good for boxing.
I see Ramiro commented he's probably doing some sweatpants for Caleb because he's talking about his team Caleb.
Caleb all day, man. The Mexican cookie monster. Let me go ahead. All right. My thought. Look, this is a great matchup. People have been waiting for this matchup, right? People want Benavidez against Canelo. I'm so glad that Canelo's out of the picture to see what everybody else is gonna do, because everybody is just with Canelo, and I get it, right? That's a big payday. He's arguably the biggest star in boxing right now. But I'm glad he had hand surgery and he's out. So now what else is everybody gonna do? Who are you gonna go against? I'm glad that these guys are now fighting each other. I want to see what Demetrius Boo Boo Andre does. Hey, Holmes, where are you going now?
I don't want to see anything that Demetrius ever does.
Neither do I. He needs to retire.
But you know what? There's a great fight, man. I know Mike jumped out. I know Caleb Plant looked good in his last fight.
Yeah.
It's a notable name. Okay, Durrell is a notable name, but man, he was so washed up, man. Shout out to my boy Pomona Soul Sounds, he's in here. Shout out to everybody, man. D Style, Raider at Los Angeles, Joaquin, Boxing Vitals. But he was way out of his prime, and I can't even remember the last time Durrell even fought. So yeah, he looked good. I don't know if he got better in that fight. I'm not really sure what that fight really told me. I don't know if it really told me that Caleb Plant got better because he put hands on Anthony Durrell.
I think it just sparked up the imagination. It sparked up the imagination to say, what if he hits David with that same hand? That's all it was. But now we're interested in that's the thing. Now the fight got hot enough to where Heyman wanted to put his two top 168 pounders together. which is again very rare. We're talking about Heyman, the most safety first promoter, or what is it, advisor? I'm sorry, but this is great. This is. I think it just captures the imagination of folks. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to win. On paper, we've always said Dave Benavidez will kind of bulldoze through this kid Plant, but we don't know. We don't know.
Do you think he can just make easy work of Caleb Plant?
I don't think so. I think Caleb has some of the most amazing legs that are out there at 100 and 160 plus. I think look at the Canelo fight, for a minute. He did great versus Canelo. Yeah, we could knock him for getting knocked out, but he did great. He was slapping Canelo around. He made Canelo work for that fight. So I think it's a great for him. It's great for both, because remember, Benavidez tends to square off in front of you, shoe shine on you. And is he going to be able to do that with Plant? I think Plant, as soon as he sees him square off, he's going to spin him out of there. So.
And you know what? Caleb Plant lasted longer than Billy Joe Saunders against.
The different fighters. I mean, not to be mean or nothing, but the American or Westernized fighter is always a better at the hips. The European fighters, this whole movement, it's new to them. They're good. They're getting some good fighters, but. If you want a pure boxer, he's got to be Westernized. From the U.S., anywhere from U.S. to again any North and South America. That's where you learn how to fight that type of style, and that's essentially what Plant did with Canelo.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think I remember him being up on the cards before he got knocked out.
I think so, and a lot of people he was up.
He was up on the cards. So Canelo was really losing the fight. But obviously, he got knocked out. Canelo knocked him out, which was how he got the win. But if he would have won the distance, we probably would have had an upset just like we had with the Bivol fight.
Yeah, Boxing Vitals, I have to agree with Sal. Caleb has skills, and that will test Benavidez. Yeah, Caleb Plant's not going to stand it. Benavidez has fast hands, man, fast combinations. But Caleb Plant's not going to stand there and just take him or just put the guard up and just, take him. Once he feels one punch, he's moving out of there, man. He's got some good footwork. So, man, great. I can't wait for the date to drop. Shout outs to the PBC for making this fight, because I've been criticizing the PBC because all their fights have been $80, and it's fights that have no reason being pay-per-view, man. And I've really been critical of the PBC. So, hey, this is actually a good one, and I can't wait for this one, and I look forward to it. David, my man, before we wrap it up, any last questions, David?
You know what? Yes, I'm going to ask Mark. Mark, this big fight that's coming up, Prograis and John Cepeda. That's probably one of your biggest events, boxing events, in the United States, in America. Yes. What's next? What's next after this? I know you're already planning the future. What's next after this? This is big. This is a huge fight.
I mean, I'm just gonna wait for those opportunities. I know some great opportunities are gonna come up. Good. Just so you understand what I'm talking about, this Crawford fight that just came out, right? We were actually in talks with that fight. We actually had an opportunity to work that fight, but it just didn't work out for us because we had November 26th and we were told the fight had to be done in December. It wasn't going to work out for us, but 2023, we're open for those big fights, those big names. Obviously, we're going to continue grinding, at the club level, helping these fighters have an opportunity to build their records and come up. But we're going to be looking for those big fights, maybe, Crawford. We have a couple names out there that are already reaching out. This fight has opened up major doors for us. So, one of our priorities next year, 2023, is to land a broadcasting deal. We're looking for that platform or that broadcaster to be able to put these great fights on, and to put on some good fights with well-known fighters, number 1, number 2 again. We're probably going to be looking at those purse bids and see what's coming up.
Yeah. You know what? Paramount Plus. That's a great venue right there. Paramount Plus.
Marvin, I got a question. Who's going to be calling the fight? Who's gonna be doing the broadcasting?
Right now, the team is working on all of that. Obviously, I've hired some of the best in the industry to to go ahead and work and put this together, because like I said, my background is in real estate. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a promoter now, but I may not know everything, but I all I have to do is be surrounded by the people that do know everything. And you're gonna be seeing some names released very soon. Everybody that's coming aboard is well known in the industry.
Outstanding.
Okay.
Let's pray for Jim Lampley to make a comeback, guys.
Oh man, I love Jim Lampley.
Comeback. Paulie Malignaggi.
He was one of the great ones, man. Well, hey, listen, Mike, any questions, brother, before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to say thank you, Marv, for the inspiration you're representing. Hope you blow up like the World Trade Center, man. Blow up, baby.
Appreciate
and Boxing Guru, hey, man, you got knowledge, brother. I would like to face off with you like Nicolas Cage, man.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Anytime. Hey, big shout out to Marvin too, because I like what he's doing. I respect what he's doing. I encourage everybody to make sure we support, just like we supported Golden Boy when they were coming up, because it's you look like us, you know what I mean? And I think it's very important to us as Hispanics to support each other. We got to be there for each other, but we also got to call out each other when we mess up. You have our support. You have my support, Marvin. Respect to everything that you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to your career as a promoter to blossom.
Thank you, man. You know what? That's the power when we come together. Only reason Marv Nation is able to do this is because of the power of unity. We come together with people that have the same mindset, the same goals to be successful. We're working on this project here with Ledgers Entertainment as our partner on this deal.
Roger.
Yes, Roger. And Dylan Mayer, which is, he's spearheading most of the operation behind all of this. So, what? The only way that we're able to make stuff like this happen is by coming together, putting aside egos and just coming together, working together. There's power in unity. And, that's what I continue to put that message out. Hey, you know what, promoters, let's work together. Let's get along. Let's build together. Let's not, work against each other, look at each other like competition. We could come together and build something powerful. And that's the only reason we're here now. We're able to do this because of the power of unity. And just to let you know, the fight's going to be on Fight TV, payperview.com. Anybody who wants to come out and support, payperview.com, Fight TV. People say, hey, we don't get the best fights. Well, here's one of the best fights for 2022. Fight of the year. Your opportunity to come out and support so that we can continue, putting these shows on, and that unity is what's going to make the difference.
Hey, I gotta give a shout out to Arturo Garza right here. He's in the comment section. The G Unit twins, Garza. I trained in their boxing gym when I prepared for the fight with Gunner. Man, you know what? His two twin sons, man, they are future champions. I'm telling you guys. And I'm gonna take this channel's Tres Chingones Boxing to his gym, because his gym is something that you guys have never seen before. It is crazy. But with that, listen, Boxing Guru, Sal, it was a blast having you on here, carnal. Man, got to pick your brain in this boxing world a little bit more, man. We're not done with you, Holmes. We're not done with you, carnal. That's it. We're sinking in, our uñas in you. Marvin, brother, just reciprocating that what everybody else said, man. To everybody watching, let's support Marv Nation, man. He's somebody, from the barrio, man, trying to do it up. Look, if you guys are over there paying these outstanding pay-per-views to watch, Charles Martin versus King Kong Ortiz, come on, man. You could pay this one, which is not $80, and this is going to be a great fight. And, man, possibly fight of the year. All right, so let's go ahead and let's support something that is well-deserved support, because if it wasn't worth it, I wouldn't say it. I'll just be like, all right, well, good luck to you, and hopefully everything works out. But no, this is actually worth it. This is actually worth the support.
I agree. Thank you so much. You know what? Anybody that wants to purchase a pay-per-view, they could go to www.marvnation.com or if you want to buy tickets, you can buy it on our website also. So our website is set up to sell you the pay-per-view, sell you tickets.
Perfect.
There you go. Perfect. And that is going to do it. That is mi hermano, Mr. David Contreras. That is Mike Zavala from Mike Angelino Sports. Big Sal, the boxing guru. Where can they check you out, Sal?
Just MrBoxingGuru.com. You guys follow me on Instagram, Twitter, same thing. On YouTube at MrBoxingGuru.com. I'm all over the place.
Buy some shirts. Tell them
buy some shirts. Buy some boxing and chill shirts and take them to the event, guys. Hey, Marvin, I was already hassling Roger that I wanted a booth, but we're still talking about it. But hey, Mr. Boxing and Chill shirts, make sure you guys get them. I still got them. Anywhere from small to 4XL, and I got hoodies coming next week, so come and get them, guys.
Negotiations are still happening. Hey, Marvin Rodriguez, where could they find everything that they need to know about Marv Nation? Do you guys have a website? Where could they go to find everything they need about your promotions, brother?
Yeah, www.marvnation.com. You can find all our social media platforms there. You can find tickets to this fight, and you can find the pay-per-view that you could just go ahead and purchase right there.
And that is going to do it for us. Marvin, stick around. Sal, stick around, man. Once we end it, to all the chingones, all the chingonas out there, man, go ahead and enjoy the fights. Remember, show support, man. You got time and all that. Save up your nice little ducats, man. This is definitely worth supporting. But shout outs to all the chingonas, whatever you guys do this weekend, be safe doing it so we can come back and do it again. Los Tres Chingones Boxing. We'll catch you guys on the next round.
All righty.